professionally by our esteemed speaker who is already here with us. And we are we feel really privileged to have you with us, sir, today in this first opening day of this faculty development program. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed, I take this honor to introduce our esteemed speaker today. He is Professor Ayaz Ahmed Shafi, who is a distinguished leadership coach, certified professional behavioral analyst, researcher, and academic with over 3 decades of experience across the corporate, academic, and leadership development domains. After holding senior positions with leading organizations, he transitioned to academia and behavioral research over 25 years ago. His work focuses on human behavior, leadership development, emotional and social intelligence, and relationship dynamics. Recognized for his expertise in behavioral science, he has coached senior corporate executives, academicians, and university students across India, the Middle East, and Africa. Professor Shafi serves as a professor of practice at IQ City United World of School of Business and teaches emotional and social intelligence at the United World School of Business, Kolkata. His pioneering research led to the development of BRET, that is Behavioral Response Evaluation Tool, a psychometric assessment model based on motivation and behavioral responses. He is the co-author of A New Approach to Motivation, the Form Drive Model, and several research papers on behavioral science. An internationally sought after facilitator, Professor Shafi has delivered executive programs and lectures across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, including at the University of West of England, Bristol, UK. Over the past 2 decades, he has coached and trained thousands of professionals, helping develop effective leaders in diverse organizational settings. I welcome you, sir, to proceed with your presentation.
Thank you very much, ma'am. This is I couldn't have written my own introduction any better. This sounds very flattering. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
So this is what it is. I mean, I have not expanded anything. I mean,
You're all
whatever
kindness, ma'am. You're all
information we
kindness.
could collect, that is,
You're
that's
all
great.
kindness,
Thank
ma'am.
you, sir.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this discussion is going to be more about awareness, self-awareness, and this discussion will also, I intend forcing you to reflect upon how you deal with issues and challenges and conflicts, both in the workplace and in the personal space. So, whatever I'm going to talk about, I don't want you to limit it only to the workspace or to the academic world, but I would like you to look at yourself as holistically and look at yourself as uh, an entire being with all the flaws and all the good things that are true of you, right? And the basis that my recommendation would be that you would want to start identifying what are the things that need attention from your side, what are the things that you want to start working on to make yourself more effective. I'm not going to give you a magic potion, and I don't have any solutions. I only have perspectives. My request to you would be try and put yourself in the context and see what is that needs attention from your side, both in terms of dealing with issues effectively and making yourself more effective, right? That is the context. So the background would be emotional intelligence, and I guess we're all familiar with the concept of emotional intelligence. So I'll spend a few minutes on that one, just helping you understand. Then I would like you to look at yourself from a different lens altogether, reading yourself, trying to understand yourself. I would also recommend that whatever method I am suggesting for reading yourself, you apply to people around you as well. Try and understand how they react or respond to different kind of triggers. What is it that works and what is it that doesn't work with them, right? Uh, and then we will look at methods of resolving conflict. How do you deal with conflicts? How do you resolve conflict or disagreements? Whether in workspace, like I said, don't limit it to the workspace. I hope that's good enough for a context. Anything that any of you wish to say at this point in time or even later on, you're most welcome to raise your hand or type your question or statement in the chat. My request to Dr. Dole or some other people in the group can be to just monitor the chat box, and in case there are any questions that need immediate addressing, be happy to
We
do
are
that.
there, sir. Yes, yes, we
Thank
are
you
there.
very
We'll
much,
do
ma'am.
it. Yeah.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Uh, there will be a question answer session at end of the conversation, but I do not limit my discussions to, and I do not wait for the Q&A session. You can interrupt me in the middle. There would be times when I would say that we'll come to that later, which is possible. There would be times when I would say, okay, I want to address it right away. So it can work both ways. But you're free to raise your hand, ask questions at any point in time in the course of the discussion. Is that okay with everybody? Yes, I can see a couple of thumbs up going up, and that's encouraging. Thank you. Excellent. Let me share some screen with you, the slides with you as well, because uh, we are operating from remote, right? And it's best that you get to see something there on the screen. Give me a second. Right. Give me a minute, please. I'll just have to go the screen mode. Yeah. All right. So what we are saying is this, that you need to, okay, one small thing here. I am not being able to see your reaction, your responses. Therefore, either Dr. Dole will have to tell me or we'll have to use the voice, which means unmute yourself and speak up, right? Uh, the screen, apart from my slides, is not visible to me otherwise, right? So just, okay. Are we okay? Can you see my emotional intelligence slide? This is the second slide.
Yes, 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 we can.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So basically, emotional intelligence, and we keep talking about it all the time. One of the things that we want to understand before I try and explain part of what you have on the screen here is that till about 80s, 70s, it is believed that your success depends on your intelligence quotient, the IQ. And somewhere people realize, and some researchers realize, and one of the path-breaking work was done by Daniel Goleman there, is still very much around, writes a lot of books. You can connect with him on LinkedIn. No, he doesn't pay me anything for his promotion, okay? So just putting it in perspective. But Daniel Goleman has done some very path-breaking kind of work in this space. Uh, we understand that IQ may help you get to a particular level, but it's emotional intelligence that makes all the difference. And emotional intelligence is essentially about knowing yourself, your emotions, your reactions to situations. How do you respond to different kind of triggers? What is it that you are comfortable with, and what is it that you are not comfortable? What triggers you? What makes you angry? What makes you happy? And for each one of us, this could be different. Even the intensity of the response could be different, right? So something that could make you extremely angry may upset me mildly. Something that can bring me great joy may bring you moderate kind of happiness, right? And that's what is important for us to understand. First is to understand my own self. Right? The other perspective is the other aspect of emotional intelligence, so far as self-awareness. So there are three components: self-awareness, social awareness, and motivation. And self-awareness is more about this emotions part, that is knowing yourself, emotions, reactions, situations. Equally important is to understand what skills and abilities do you have, what is it that you can do well, and what is it that you struggle with, right? So that's one. And then what is it that motivates you? And the way to identify your motivator is very fundamental. Activities which lead to results and are not energy sapping. So anything that you're doing will lead to a particular result. And in that activity, you don't feel tired at all. That's your motivator. Very, very simple. Very easy to identify, actually. So spending time with my children, I don't feel tired. I mean, if I have to play a sport with them, I'm perfectly fine. I don't feel tired. The energy is flowing all the time. That's a motivator. Their company becomes a motivator for me. I'm a painter. I can paint for hours and I don't feel tired at all. That's my motivator. Creative release is my motivator. And that's how I would want to understand myself. So any activity which I find engaging and energizing becomes my motivator. I hope that that's making sense to everybody. A bit of prompt will help because I can't see your thumbs up there. So you'll have to kind of help me with your voice thing, right? Once in a while, that interruption will be welcome.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Right. Thank you very much, ma'am. I would like to hear those voices every now and then, right? So this is part A of emotional intelligence. Part B is social competence. And social competence is about knowing others' perspectives and emotions that you trigger. How do people react, respond to different things that I do in their presence? I smile at somebody, the person responds in a very positive manner, right? I will not get the same response from everybody with the same intensity. And remember, here the key to identifying different people's style is the intensity and frequency of what they do or what they don't do. Even for yourself, when you're trying to understand your own behavioral pattern, what you want to do is you want to look at the intensity and frequency. So, for example, if you want to understand your emotions, and you say certain things make me angry, fair enough. Uh, when was the last time this event or incident occurred? Did I get very angry? What was the intensity? What is the frequency of this event impacting me so negatively? And you would know whether this is important or not. So when you're looking at your own self, look at frequency and intensity of any expression of emotions. When you're looking at others, follow the same principle. And I'll come back and we'll talk about how you want to read people around you. There's a model for it created by a man called William Master, which I'll come to in a minute, right? Uh, then emotional intelligence, naturally, if I have a good sense of myself, what works for me and what doesn't work for me, and if I have a good sense of what works for others and what doesn't work for others, I will be able to manage my relationship a lot better, a whole lot better, right? Having said this, I also need to understand what motivates me, what drives my behavior, what energizes me, what engages me. It is equally helpful, particularly in the workspace, particularly in close relationships, to understand what motivates others, what energizes them, what makes them feel good, what engages them, right? And this is important. So that's where your ability to set direction and vision for yourself and others come into play. I hope that's making sense to everybody so far.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the PPT is not moving. I mean,
Now
are you changing the slides?
I'm changing it now. Understanding disk. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
No, no, no. We can't. We can't see the new slides, sir. Yeah, now.
I
Yes,
think there's
yes.
a problem when I go full screen. There's a problem, so I would rather keep
This
it
way
this
is
way.
also fine. Yes, no
This
problem.
fine? Yeah, I've made it big enough, so I hope it's complete. So there was a man called William Marston, and William Marston was a professor of psychology at Harvard University some 100 years ago. Right? And in 1929, he wrote a book called Emotions of Normal People. In there, he said simply by looking at people, you can identify whether they're extroverted or introverted, whether they're task oriented or relationship oriented. So that's a construct, right? And DISC stands, the full form is DISC. So D stands for dominance, I for influence, S for steadiness, and C for compliance. And these define the behavioral pattern of people. Right? Why is this important to our discussion? Because I need to understand what is my predominant style. Now, please understand that all the four factors would be present to some extent or the other in everybody. Right. So I'll describe what each one of a behavioral pattern would mean. And when you look at yourself, you will find one is present with a higher degree of intensity. When you observe others to understand their behavior, the same principle will apply. So the intensity would define which is the predominant factor. Are you with me so far, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Now, D stands for dominance. What that means is, when William Marston defined it, he said people can be extroverted or introverted, or people can be task oriented or relationship oriented, right? Uh, So, but basically, before that, what it means is when you look at somebody who's a dominance behavioral style person, the person is likely to be extroverted and task oriented. The focus would be more on task, not so much about relationship. So when something has to be done, they will not care about the emotions, sentiments of others, right? Let's say I have a boss who is a very strong dominance behavioral style person, right? Uh, if I have a problem and I go to my boss and I say, "Boss, I got a problem. I'm going to leave early today." His reaction will not be about what is your problem, what is the difficulty you're facing, can I help you? No, he will not ask me say those things. He will not ask me those questions. He will simply say, "What about the task that you're supposed to complete? Are you asking somebody else to deal with it? Who is going to deal with it? I hope you have made sure that somebody is taking care of whatever has to be done." The focus is squarely on the task, right? Objectives, results, that matters, right? Uh, it's about problems. They see everything as a problem, and they treat it as a challenge. It has to be overcome. So it's about problems and challenges most of the time. My problem becomes his problem in the sense that it is impacting his result, the output, the achievement that he or she is targeting. That's what dominance behavior is. So D here, I'm just running my cursor over it. D here would mean dominance, which is about extroversion and task orientation. They would be aggressive. I'll come to the descriptor in a minute, which will help you identify yourself as well, right? So that's dominance. Then the second factor is influence, which is extroverted and relationship oriented. Now, this doesn't care much about tasks. This is more about fun, building relationships, knowing as many people as possible, having a good time, even in the most difficult situation. These are the people who would say something funny and bring a smile on everybody's face. That's how they go about it, right? So, dominance, task, and extroversion. Influence, extroversion, and relationships. Are we okay so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And this is about people in context. How many people do I have around me? How many people do I know? How many people do I have on my mobile phone as contacts? How many people can I reach out to just like that? If I have a party, how many people can I invite? If I go to a party, how many people would know me there? Right? And typically, these are the people who can make friends just like that. You know, they love talking, they love connecting with people, even strangers. Strangers are people they just haven't met. That's all. They're friends they haven't met, right? They find very easy to speak to a large audience, and they find it easy to connect with strangers. That's how they operate. The focus on goals and targets and results may be impacted greatly in the sense that they may not focus on the task much. That's not the priority anyway. So if you and I are working in the same team and I happen to be a dominance behavioral style person, I will not care much about the relationship. I will not care about how you feel, what you think, and so on. I will try and make sure that you get the job done. On the other hand, if I have a strong influence behavioral style, I would try and make sure that you see me in the right light. You think highly of me, you like me. I like influence behavioral style people like being liked, right? That's important one to remember, right? Then you have the steadiness behavioral style. And steadiness is about essentially saying that pace and consistency is what they focus on. So they're slow paced, they're introverted and relationship oriented. Their relationships is not about the number of people they know. How many friends I have is not important for me, right? What is the depth of that relationship? Do I have a friend who I can call up middle of the night and say, "Hey, I need help," and will I have people standing up for me? That's what matters. Or do I have people in my life who would call me up at any point in time in the course of day or night, and I'll stand up for them? So the number of people that I'll have as friends will be smaller, but the relationships would be much deeper. That's one. The second is they are not extroverted naturally. I mean, I'm saying they're introverted and relationship oriented. And therefore, you will find them to be very quiet, a little slow paced. They would deal with things in a very steady manner, let's say. Right? Consistency is what they seek in everything. Anything new throws them off balance. So if you bring something new suddenly to them and say, hey, this is something that you need to work with, let's say, give me time. Let me get used to it. I'm not used to it. These are some of the things that they typically say. And they struggle with new ideas. Acceptance of a change takes a lot of time for them, right? The basic fear is anything new. Make sense, everybody, so far?
Yes, sir.
Right. And when I look at the fourth factor, which is called the compliance behavioral style, compliance is more about data, numbers, facts, logic, reasoning, etc., etc. Task and introversion is how they operate. Detail orientation is very strong. The difference between dominance task focus and compliance task focus is very simple. Dominance task focus will be getting results quickly and the volume of results, even if the quality is bad. Even if somebody comes in and says you didn't, the quality is poor, the guy would turn around and say, but I delivered in time and I delivered the volume that you wanted, right? But the compliance guy would say, I am willing to fail time. My deadline doesn't matter. I want to make sure that the quality is top notch. Excellence is important for this behavioral style, right? Procedures, they will follow the rule book. Anything that they have to do, it has to be done with a particular kind of method. There has to be a system, a process has to be defined. They cannot operate in an environment which is uncertain. Right? Are we okay so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Any
Going
yes,
good. Going good.
any
yes.
questions at this point in time? Any questions that you have? You want to ask?
No, actually, the concept is reflective. So we are not getting any questions right now.
Okay. Uh, is any of you? I'll go back, go down a little more, and then you. I would like you to reflect and ask yourself, what is my own style? Right. I've already mentioned this to you: extroverted and task-oriented. So look at D in this quadrant, right? Extroverted, task-oriented, extroverted, people-oriented, right? This is introverted, people-oriented, and this is introverted, task-oriented. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Now, what I want us to remember is this: there's no absolute style. 99% of us will have combinations. And I can have any kind of combination. For example, I could have a D, very strong dominance with an influence factor, which means task and relationship factor would be equally important, or one maybe more important than the other, but both would be present, right? But the extroversion will be very extreme for me. Right? I could also have an I and S combination, which would mean my extroversion may be muted a little because of the presence of introversion in a steadiness behavior style, right? But my people orientation would be very, very intense, right? Likewise, I could have a CS combination, which would mean that my introversion would be very, very intense. But I would try and strike some kind of a balance, although one may be stronger than the other, between task and relationship. And if I have a combination of C and D, then my task orientation would be very intense. I would want to deliver on time. I would want to deliver the maximum volume possible, but I would also want to make sure that they are done exceptionally well. That there's no comment, no criticism of the quality of my output, right? And
Okay.
I will not care about people around me. I will not care if some people feel hurt, upset, angry, sad, whatever. What will matter to me is the task on hand. That's the kind of guy who says the show must go on. We get that?
Okay. That sounds great. So I just
That
here I
please go
just
ahead.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to ask this question. I just wanted to know, like, as we engage, or as we sort of deal with people who are a little difficult at work, difficult to work with. They are either very uh, uh, too firm about their thoughts, their thought processes, or that they have very strong opinions about people, about tasks, about even manner of doing things. So in
Right.
that case, how do I, like, because even if I'm very steadfast with my work, about my style of working, and I'm also very aware of my image as a professional, that I want my job done, and under no circumstance I don't want to compromise with my work. But I
Right.
know the person with whom I'm working with is a little difficult to
Right.
kind of convince or ask him to work. So in that case, how do I change my style? Is there any possibility of changing my style in handling this person?
So, two things here. First is to understand that the guy you don't like, or the person that are not comfortable with, let's not say don't like, but you're not comfortable working with because of certain things that the person brings into play, is the same guy who is much appreciated, respected, liked by another person in the team. And that should tell you something. Why is the other person comfortable with this guy? The reason is very fundamental. Their behavioral style align. So let's say if I'm a very strong D&C person, I'm going to talk about work all the time. I'm going to talk about quality. I'm going to talk about result. I'm going to talk about achievement all the time. And if you're in the same mode, unless you perceive me as a threat to your own achievement, you'll align very well with me. You will end up saying that, oh, here is a man who talks business. I like people who talk business. Right? On the other hand, if you are a very strong D or a very strong C or a very strong DC behavioral style person, and I'm somebody who's very strongly IS or I or S, which means very strong people orientation, I would say, yeah, this person doesn't understand anything other than work. What kind of person am I dealing with? And then the clash will start emerging. Are you with me, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah, I got you. Yeah. This
Now,
is what exactly happens in a workplace, right? We
absolutely,
we come with two different ideologies, I mean, thought
absolutely,
processes altogether, and it is
absolutely.
where conflict begins.
Absolutely. So while we say that each one of us will have our own styles, we also understand that we are blessed. We are human beings, and we have the ability to reflect and think about things, right? We have the ability to adapt. And please remember, I don't have to change myself. I only need to tweak my approach for those few minutes that I have to work with you or interact with you. So if I know Dr. Jyoti Dole is somebody who means business and is serious about business, all that I need to do is prepare my conversation script such that it focuses on the business and the results and the outcome. Even if I am somebody who is very strong, I love to crack a few jokes in between. Think about it this way. What happens when you go to an authority figure, and we typically, we all of us have worked with a boss of this kind sometime or the other, but yeah, in his presence, you can't say anything. Be very careful about what you say. He only talks business, right? So how do we go into to those conversations? We go with our data and facts, everything ready, right? We go prepared, right? Whenever you find you're interacting with somebody whose style doesn't align with you, and when I say align with you, it's very easy to understand whether it is aligning or not, whether you're happy with it or not, whether you like that style or not. If you're saying it, no, no, this person is always about fun and about people and how do you feel kind of questions. Yeah, he doesn't talk business. Yeah, I don't like working in that kind of environment. Your style is opposite of that. It's not aligning. Very simple, right? Therefore, what you want to do is for those few minutes or hours, or at least for the time that you have to work together, you just need to adapt and focus on what is aligning with the other person's style. This I'm speaking about purely from the work relationship perspective. But remember, in the workplace, what is important for both of you is to deliver certain kind of results, right? Your bosses, your stakeholders, your customers will not care much about whether you're aligning with each other or not. What is the outcome is what they will bother about, right? And therefore, if I have a good understanding of my own behavioral style, my own self, and I have a good understanding of another person's behavioral style and the person's approach to work, I'll be able to adapt myself. The responsibility for adapting is on my shoulders, not on the other person's shoulder. The other person may not even be aware what the styles are all about. Is that making sense, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
In case anybody else has any questions, please go ahead. Okay. In the absence of any voices, I take it that there are no more questions. So I can proceed with the next part. Now, this is your D behavioral style, dominance behavioral style. When somebody has a strong D behavioral approach, what you have on the top half of this slide is about strong D behavioral style. So the person is likely to come across as somebody who is ambitious, forceful, decisive, makes quick decisions, very direct. If I will say it like it is, kind of approach the person will have, right? Will be very independent. You don't tell me what to do. I would want to do it my way, right? You tell me what is the output you want. Let's say this is the person. This person is your subordinate, right? So you don't tell me how to go about. I know my job. Don't teach me how to do my job. Okay? Give me the space to do it my way. I'll do it my way. I'll get you the result that you want. Right? And they love a challenge. They love a challenge. Also remember what is not mentioned here is they're likely to be very combative and argumentative. They're also likely to cross the boundaries very often. If you leave the boundaries undefined, go back to your classroom, think about the students, right? And there will be students who would cross the boundaries at times, often enough. If you've not clearly defined the boundaries, they would cross the boundaries, right? So look at the right-hand side. These are the descriptors. This is how you identify these people. When you look at them and you know that, and not just for the purpose of working, even the classroom, if you can use this method to identify the behavior of your student, it will be easier to manage your classes actually. So some of your students need freedom from control. How do you deal with them? You'll find a way of dealing with them. I'm not getting into that discussion how to deal with them, but you know how to deal with them, right? You'll find a way of dealing with them. Some students can't sit in a place for too long. You will find a way of dealing with them. But you should be able to identify where it's coming from, right? Everything has to be done now, sense of urgency, strong need for results, achievement oriented. So naturally, if I'm achievement oriented, if I'm ambitious, I would need results which would show me in the right light, right? And they will set standards which are high. Others haven't been able to do it. I have been able to do it. That sense of achievement has to be there for most of the things. Likewise, somebody who's got a low D score or is weak on D behavior, they will not push, they will maintain status quo and so on. You can read it. I'm not reading it for you. Take 30 seconds and then I'll move to the next one. Let me know when we are ready to move. I think we should be ready to move to the next one.
I think yes, sir. We can move to the next slide.
Right. The only thing I want you to remember is reading this is easy. The reason I've highlighted these is very simple. You can observe people and you can understand whether they're demonstrating this or the other one or something else. And this is all demonstrated, not detail oriented, for example, high sense of urgency. These are demonstrated behavior. So we are looking at demonstrated behavior. You want to understand somebody's behavior, just observe them and you will know. Equally important, observe yourself as well. Likewise, for strong I behavioral style people, they will be expressive, very expressive. Their conversations are very animated. They will use a lot of gestures and expressions to say what they have to say, right? A lot of nod of head, a lot of hand movement, right? They will be very into whatever they have to present will be presented with a very high degree of energy. Friendly, they find very easy to make friends, demonstrative of whatever emotions they feel. But remember, they will not show anger very often. They will show optimism most of the time. They'll be positive about most of the things. And these are people who want to avoid conflict. The reason is very simple. I've told you earlier that influence behavioral style people or I behavioral style people typically like being liked. Disagreement, conflict would mean that you may end up not liking me. If I argue with you, you may feel, oh, this man, I don't like him. He's too, he creates a lot of pressure, he says things in a nasty way, and therefore I would avoid conflict. Whereas dominance behavioral style, D behavioral style, would enjoy conflict. Why? Because it will give him a chance or her a chance to win an argument. And winning is important, no matter what it is. Even if it's a small game of Ludo, and you will notice this. You play some game with some of your friends, some of them are very intense about it. They hate losing, no matter how small the game. There's no prize money involved, nothing involved. They hate it. That's your D behavioral style friend. Whereas the I behavioral style friend, when he's playing a game, it's all fun, jokes, and whatever. If they lose, they're laughing at themselves, actually. Winning is not important. Having fun, building relationship, making friends is more important for them, right? So you can read the descriptors here. Again, use it to analyze, read people's behavior and understand what behavioral style they're coming in with. One of the things, one of the easiest way of identifying influence behavioral style people is to, maintain some silence in the room for a minute. They are the ones who will speak first, right? They hate silence and they love talking. I don't know how many of you, I've experienced it a few times. I have to travel very often and I've experienced it a few times, I'm waiting at a gate. The display on the gate says, where is this plane flying to? So flight number this, flying to this city or this place, wherever, right? I'm waiting there, and there's this person who will come and sit next to me and will look at me and say, oh, where are you going? And often enough, by the action is you can see it on the board. I'm going to that city only. I can't be going to another place sitting at this gate, right? But this is kind of, they would want to talk. Right? And they feel very uncomfortable in the car talk. Right? Look at some of your students in the classroom. Look at your faculty room. And some of your friends would want to break silence. They don't like silence. They have to speak. And when they speak with a lot of energy. So they gesture a lot when communicating. And they touch and feel people. So a pat on the shoulder, a tap on the head, giving a hug, a long handshake, smile most of the time. And one of the dead giveaways for these I build style people is this. They because they like being liked, they also like to look very good. So they take care of their appearance. They would wear the right kind of perfume and the right kind of colors, and they'll spend a few minutes in front of the camera. So every time they go into the washroom, they spend a minute doing this, taking care of their hair and appearance. Even if they don't have much hair like me, they will still do this. No, I don't do it because that's not my dominant style. We understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
One of the things, if you're sorry, if there's a question there, I heard a voice there. Okay. One of the things to do, and if you want to build this ability to read people's behavior, is to observe people wherever you are. Just observe them, look at them. Go to a mall and you see somebody walking. You see somebody walking very purposefully in a particular direction with a very neutral expression on the face, or maybe some intense expression because of the nature of task is going to address. This is a dominance behavior. Very firm strides, hand movement very controlled, head movement hardly there, shoulders very firm, very upright kind of posture in terms of walk. That's your dominance behavioral style person. The influence behavioral style person would have a very languid kind of walk. Very relaxed muscles. They will use gestures, but the muscles would be very relaxed, right? And they would be looking in all kind of directions with a smile on the face. They will not be smiling at anybody in particular, but generally they'll be smiling most of the time. You go to a mall, observe people, and you will see people like this. That's your influence behavioral style person, right? So reading is actually easy. Even if you're looking at somebody for 30 seconds, this is the predominant style that remember the word predominant, because other styles would be present as well, or there's a secondary style which could be present as well. So don't simply say that this is the only one that I see. it is possible that the combination would be visible. Make sense, everybody?
Yes, sir.
I hope we are all in there and we are listening in, because I believe there's a quiz
Yes, sir. That's
MCQ later on coming up, right? So,
of course. More than that, more than anything, it's going very interesting, sir. Like we are hooked to it. So
okay.
please go
I
ahead.
also hope that some of us are trying to look at ourselves and trying to figure out what could be my predominant style, right? Try and do that. It's a good exercise, actually. Right? If you're looking at your steadiness behavioral style, this is what there would be. Strong steadiness behavioral style would mean you're methodical, you're systematic, you're reliable. Reliable in terms of being, trust is a very important thing for them. So they like to trust people and they like being trusted. They are steady in the sense that you will not find their pace erratic. For both dominance and influence people style people, you will notice that their energy level would fluctuate. Sometimes they're very high on energy, sometimes they're low, right? For steadiness behavioral style, you will see a flat pattern. You will not see them peaking in terms of energy very strongly, going shooting up or dropping down drastically. They'll be pretty steady in their approach. Their voice is very steady. Everything that they do is very done very steadily, right? Consistency is a very important word for them, and they don't like being hurried. Don't push them. Don't force them into action, right? What matters to them, like I said, is trust, loyalty, connection, building relations. Commitment is a very important word for them. So if your influence behavioral style person says that I'll get it done tomorrow, most likely he will not, right? But if your steadiness behavioral style person says I'll get it done tomorrow, no matter what happens, the person will get it done. It's not so much about whether you need it or whether it is critical to their professional growth, but because I have made a commitment to you and I don't want to lose your trust, I would make sure that I deliver. Is that making sense, everybody?
Yes, sir.
And I hope we are being able to read what is given here, right? But I
Uh,
also, ma'am, sorry.
Actually, as you were explaining about the different types of people, I mean behavior, I possibly can connect these behaviors with the people I know personally. Like,
Ma'am, so
so
much.
that is what
I
I mean.
don't need.
My Yes, sir.
Go on, please, ma'am. Please go on. Yeah.
That is how I mean the thought process is working right now in that way.
Sujata
Uh,
ma'am, you
yes,
can please turn on your video if possible. We'd like to see you. I mean, it's a very
yeah,
engaging kind of a presentation, the
yeah,
session,
that is true,
and
ma'am.
you're making it all the more active. Yes, yes,
Yeah, actually, I'm reaching home. Within 5 minutes, I'll be reaching. So from the college. So immediately after going
wonderful,
home, I'll turn it on.
No worries, ma'am.
Yes.
But, ma'am, thank
wonderful,
you so
wonderful.
much, which is what I'm recommending for everybody else as well. Start looking at your people around you, and think of somebody who connects with some of the features. But like I said earlier, also, you will hardly have people in absolute category. So there'll be combinations, right? And the idea behind this discussion is to help you identify the behavioral style so that you can adapt your own behavior to minimize conflict and enhance effectiveness, right? Anybody else with any observation or any comments or any questions, please go ahead. I know, okay. Shweta ma'am, thank you very much. And you can continue to share your thoughts if you have to going forward as well. Like I
Yeah,
said,
true, true.
this
Sure, sir. Sure.
there's no
I I have
please,
I have a question for you, sir. I have a
please,
question for you.
please, ma'am.
As you were talking about the style, behavioral style, pattern, everything, and I could relate with myself and how I conduct in the workplace, plus others as well. So I was just wondering, like, no, I know there are certain aspects in my style which may not be quite fruitful,
Right.
Sometimes I it does not give me any result in certain situation. So in that case, can we really change our pattern? I mean, you just talked about, we can change our style while handling with difficult people or different situations.
Right.
But I wanted to say, our style is actually the result of our thought processes, right?
Right.
The pattern in which we think, look at things. So
Absolutely.
can we change our pattern ever? I mean, is
Perfect.
there any way
Perfect.
that we can
So
change?
I'll take a couple of minutes on this one because this is a very important question. But can I just complete the next one and then come to this question of yours?
Sure, sure.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I'll just complete the. This one is okay. S behavior is fine.
Yes,
Okay.
fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to the next one, which is C. And again, C is analytical, contemplative, conservative, exacting, very demanding in terms of quality, not in terms of quantum of output or quantity that you produce or the timeline that you meet, but in terms of quality. They're very, very demanding. It has to be perfect. And it has to be as per the rule. You cannot break the process. You cannot create your own process. You cannot tell me that I will go and find my way of doing. You will have to explain to me that this is exactly how I'm going to go about it. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 100th. Right. So the descriptors are here. These people are okay. One of the things that you want to remember about compliance behavioral style people, they are unlike the I behavioral style person who is a touch and feel person. They love shaking hands and so on. S behavioral style person will connect physically, touch and feel only with people that they connect with. So close relationships, close friends, right? They're not comfortable with anybody and everybody. So even handshakes are limited in the sense that 3 pumps, 2 pumps, and they're okay. Compliance behavioral style, influence behavioral style people, their handshake go on forever practically. They hold on to you. Compliance behavioral style people do not, they have a very large private space. So I typically say that, influence behavioral style have zero personal space, right? You don't, you can just walk in and give me a hug and I'm perfectly fine. That's what I behavioral style person would do. The deep behavioral style person would define it in terms of space, in terms of authority. If you are junior to me, if you're my subordinate, don't come too close. If you're my superior, if you're more powerful than me, please do come close. I like it that way, right? Steadiness behavioral style person, if my relationship is very close with you, I'm perfectly fine being close with you in physical terms. But if it is not close enough in emotional terms, stay away or maintain some distance. Compliance, no matter what, I don't want you to come too close to me. I would rather do namaste, namaskar than shake hands. I don't want your handshake. And please don't put your arm around my shoulder, no matter who you are, right? Think of your cousin, your sister, your brother, your child, who is like, or even your mom at times, where she says, don't touch me, stay away, right? Some of these people have a very strong C behavioral style tendency, right? It's easy to identify, is what I'm trying to tell you. Make sense? You can read this and then I'll come to Jyoti ma'am's question about how do we change ourselves. Are we good with this?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Any questions so far? So we have looked at four behavioral styles and we have said that these are some of the elements that you can observe, look at, and then you will know whether is working well or not working well, right? And then you can do something about it. What is it that you're going to do about it? Like your question, and I would have come to it anyway. When I'm looking at behavioral style, I'm saying there's something called the national behavioral style, which means I'm going to engage in a particular way with things and with people in a particular manner when I'm in an environment where I believe I'm not being judged, evaluated, or observed. Give you an example. I'm at home and I am half lying in the sofa, and my daughter brings me tea, and I'm slurping my tea or coffee. It doesn't matter. That's my natural environment. In my natural environment, I'm going to behave in a particular manner. However, in the workplace, I adapt even at the subconscious level, even without being aware of DISC. I still adapt. And I'll give you an example. I'm using my own example. Okay. I'm old enough and you can see it, right? When I'm in the class, I'm about control. You can't use your mobile phone. You can't walk into my class late. You can't talk in there, right? Dominance. My focus is in the 1 hour that I have with you, I have to cover certain topics. And that has to be covered. Result. My focus is I want you to perform well in the exam or I want you to do well in the interview, whatever it may be. Result, right? So deadline, output, all that matters. And of course, control. And when my students do well, I have a sense of achievement. I said, look, my students have done good. That is all D coming to into play, right? I'm not saying I don't crack jokes. The I factor may come in once in a while just to keep the students engaged, perhaps. I may pat a student on the head, sometime on the shoulder, sometime just to bring in the element of that S, building deeper relationships, right? I may focus on data and facts a little more at times, which would be C, but primarily you will see my D style emerging strong. And this is true for most of the professors and lecturers and teachers in the classroom, where the D style predominates in the classroom. Even though that may not be your natural style, we adapt at the subconscious level actually. I'm the teacher, therefore I can't do certain things. And I have to act in a particular manner. Right? Thank you, Tapesh. Enjoy it. So this is one part, right? I go to the faculty room. I'm one of the most senior guys in the faculty room, and I've got some young men and young ladies working with me. I keep pulling their leg, okay? So it's a lot of bantering that I engage in. I tease them, I say things about them. And there's a lot of good fun in the room, right? People feel good about it. They smile, they laugh, and I'm happy. That's my influence behavioral style. I'm not naturally a strong influence behavioral style person. But to make sure that people are engaged, people are feeling good, working together, they're in a happy mood, I crack jokes. I tease some of them. I pull their legs. I'm adapting. Believe me, I is not my strong score. I mean, if I were to take an assessment on DISC, I'll not score high on I, right? Then there are times when I look at one of these young colleagues of mine or some student of mine and I see them low, feeling low. I can make out they're feeling low. And I go around and I say, okay, let's spend some time. Are you having some difficulties? What's the problem you're facing? Let's talk about it. Let's discuss. That's my steadiness behavioral style coming out. Right? And we have a conversation and I talk to them about whatever difficulty they may be facing. Right? Then my principal, my dean says, we need to discuss certain plans for the next batch, whatever. Serious discussion based on data and facts and numbers and whatever. I go into that conversation where my compliance is pops, right? When I'm looking at everything, I'm analyzing the situation or the facts or whatever it may be. What I'm telling you is this, that it is easy for you to flex your behavioral style. You only need to decide what situation and what person demands a particular approach from your side. Once you become aware of the need in a given environment, in a given context, in a given situation, with a particular behavioral style of a person, you will know how to do it. You will not, it will be effortless actually. It will be seamless rather, not just effortless. Right? The transition you won't even realize. You only need to tell yourself that to be more effective, I need to align my behavioral approach with this person or in this situation. That's all. Ma'am, is that making sense?
Yes, it does.
But to be able to do that, you first need to be aware of what is your natural tendency. What is it that you are likely to do if you're not mindful, right? And if you realize that your natural behavior is going to lead to complication or going to give you results which are counterproductive, then you will tell yourself that I need to adapt, I need to change. And this adapting is momentary. So 1 hour in the classroom, 15 minutes in the faculty room, half an hour with my colleague, one-on-one conversation, 10 minutes with my dean. All this is happening through the day. But when I go back home, I go back to my normal style. I talk to my daughter the way I prefer to. I demand my cup of tea. I lie in the couch the way I want to. And nobody stops me, and I'm perfectly fine because this doesn't have any implication. Unless, I say the wrong thing to my wife, then I know I'm not getting my dinner. That becomes a problem. So I need to be careful about that. And to that extent, I need to adapt what she prefers and what she doesn't prefer. Right? But, even in personal relationship, there would be time when I would need to adapt. I mean, I can't simply say that I'm in my natural space, therefore it doesn't matter. Right? That's how the whole thing works. Make sense, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Anything else that needs clarification? Okay.
Yes, sir. I do have a question. Thank you
Please
for
go
the
ahead.
session, by the way. It's very, very interesting and insightful. So much learning for ourselves and people we meet every day. I have a question, sir, for dominance compliance. This question is more related to how do we fix, or build more empathy for this particular profile.
So if you look at it this way, that for dominance compliance, we will start person, somebody who's a combination of these two elements. And I've worked with people. They're very difficult to work with, by the way, because they're very demanding in terms of quality, in terms of timelines, everything, in terms of process, in terms of compliance, everything, right? So task is the ultimate thing for them. It's not easy working with that boss, that kind of a boss. It's not even easy working with that kind of a subordinate or peer, difficult to work with, right? How do you help them build that empathy? Help them understand that if the focus is purely on task, output, process, and if you are not accounting for people's sentiments and emotions, people will not contribute to your results, to your effort. And that means you will not be able to achieve what you're trying to achieve. Very, very simple. So if you tell me that, all this is fine, but I'm feeling so miserable that I'm not being able to focus on work, and therefore I will not be able to deliver what you've asked me to deliver, I'll sit up and I'll say, oh my God, therefore I need to do something about it. Okay, let's go out and let's do something that will make you feel better. My purpose is not to make you feel better. My purpose is still to get the best result.
Yeah.
But now I realize that that purpose will not be served if I don't look at this aspect, if I don't take care of this aspect.
Right.
So therefore, what you need to do is you don't have to do much to build empathy in these people or in yourself if you're the person. All that you need to do is explain to yourself or to the other person who is not showing that empathy or concern for people, that not showing any concern for people will lead to counterproductive results, will not give you the result that you're seeking. And that's it.
Just be
Once
polite
that
to them.
realization, sorry, ma'am?
Just be polite to them.
Yes. So what will happen? People will start taking care of it. I will know that I will not get the best result if I speak like this to ma'am. So therefore, I'll be a little more careful with her. I will put it differently. Right? I'll use a language. I will start adapting at the subconscious level. Make sense now? Even if I'm the
Right.
most powerful person in the room, I'll still try and adapt.
Right.
Is that
The
okay?
other question that I have is about the steadiness and again compliance for building up more adaptability, because steadiness people, they struggle with certain change, or and the compliance is more about dominance and perfection. They're more into that. So how do we build up confidence and let them be a little more agile? I'm sorry, but I'm asking the question ma'am was supposed to ask in the
No,
next.
perfect. Please continue. That's the way I want it. I prefer it this way. I don't want to get into a monologue kind of thing. I'm glad we are engaging in a conversation. So what happens is this. If you are telling me to change something, the first question I would ask you, let's say my style is very strong S, and you tell me do it this way. I've been doing this in a particular manner for so many years, and you come into the room and you say you do it this way. I've been sitting in a particular place and you say you shift. My first question would be why? Now, for dominance, change is good. So the dominance guy, if you tell me, don't sit in this chair, that chair, that's right, very close to the authority person. So you go and sit there, and I will be happy to go there. Right?
Okay.
I person just doesn't care. But the S guy, you tell him the reason why this change is necessary, but more importantly, how will it relate to the people who matter, and how will it relate or connect with what this person is feeling?
Um,
Not so much in terms of achievement. For the dominance guy, it's achievement.
mm,
For this SBM style person, change needs to be put in the context of feelings and emotions for himself and for others. You will feel good when this happens. You try and sit there, you'll feel more comfortable. The moment you start putting it in that perspective, change becomes more acceptable. But even then, they will need time. Change can't be a sudden thing for them.
right. So thank you so much.
I hope that's making sense, ma'am.
Yes, there's
Likewise, for compliance people, you need to, anything that you want them to do, you need to explain to them the impact on the quality of their output, not just the
okay.
volume, but the quality.
So
The
one
impact
needs
on the
reasoning, the
process.
other one needs impact, the kind of creation they can get out of it. So what
Sorry,
I meant
ma'am?
was, one is asking for the reasoning, the other one is asking for the impact it can create. Yeah,
Brilliant. That is
yeah.
the way to put it. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Yeah?
so much. Thank you.
You
Thank
got it. Okay. Any more questions or are we good with this? Okay. Let me quickly get into conflict then. And this is very basic statement. We know it and just reiterating what most of us are aware of. Conflict has a value, its own value, right? There are functional conflicts and dysfunctional conflicts. Functional conflicts focus on issues and tasks. And functional conflicts are basically meant to find the best solution or the best result. So I disagree with you on certain things, a process or the outcome, because I am looking at the best output. So are you. Therefore, functional conflicts is they are always limited to an event or an activity, and once that is taken care of, it's over, right? There's no residual conflict remaining there. Dysfunctional conflict is about persons. Mr. Shafi, I don't like your face, right? You don't like my face. Or the way you speak is very rude. I don't like that. Then what happens? This creates a situation of confrontation most of the time, and you refuse to align with whatever I'm trying to do or whatever I'm trying to achieve, right? Just be mindful whether the nature of your conflict, the conflict that you're engaging in, whether that is functional or whether that is dysfunctional. Functional conflict is always about the task, dysfunctional conflict is always about the person. Just remember that. There's a lot to discuss in here, but I'm leaving it with this. I would want you to keep just one simple perspective. Is my argument, my disagreement, my fight with this person, is this about the individual or is this about the issue on hand? If it is about the issue on hand, fantastic. Go right ahead, fight to win if you have to. But if it is about the person, pull back and say, not worth it. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So there are five different ways of dealing with conflict, and they are mapped against assertiveness and cooperativeness. Assertiveness would simply mean I would have wanted to use the word aggressiveness, but aggressive sounds very extreme. Therefore, I'm using assertiveness, where you put your foot down and say, "Demand." I make certain demands of your own kind, and say, "I stand by what I'm saying." Right. Cooperativeness brings in that flexibility, right? And you say, I'm flexible enough, I'll go with what you want and I'll accommodate you and so on, right? And you look at this when your assertiveness, when you're competing, your assertiveness is very, very strong, but you're low on cooperativeness. What that means is that you are competing to win. It's my argument. I am saying that this has to be done this way. And I'm not going to consider any other way. Right? It's my way or the highway kind of approach. This you will notice very often with the dominance behavioral style people. The reason I've given you a perspective on DISC is basically to read it in that context. So people who have a strong dominance behavioral style will most of the time coming in with the competing conflict resolution attitude. If I have to resolve a conflict, and if I'm a strong behavioral style person, I want to win the argument. Very fundamental. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
A, a combination of cooperativeness and assertiveness would give you a collaborating approach. What that means is this: I'm looking at a win-win formula. I'm not going looking at a win-lose. So I'm competing is win-lose. I win, you lose. Collaborating is I'm trying to get the best out of both of us. So you have a perspective which is different from mine, but it will have some qualities. I'll try and build it into my approach and say, okay, let's partner. You are bringing with certain good thoughts and ideas or certain abilities and skills, and I'm here with certain abilities and skills. Let's put it all together because that's when we will get the best result possible. Make sense? And uh, please remember this before I go further. I want us to remember that it is not necessary that one style is superior to another. And it is not to say that you will use only one approach all the time, right? Each approach will have a context, a situation, and you will make your choice based on the context, the situation that you find yourself in. So there would be times when you would have to, perforce, adopt a very competing approach to conflict resolution. And there would be times where you would have to, perforce, because of the environment, the situation, or the context, you'll have to collaborate. No matter whether, even if you're a very strong, deep behavioral style person, you would still want to collaborate, right? Make sense, everybody?
Yes, sir.
A
Yes, sir.
compromising approach would mean that it's a give and take thing. So I give up on a few things that are important to me. I say it's all right because I'll have to make some compromises. I give up on certain things and it's all right. At the same time, I'm bringing in some cooperativeness is also there. So my assertiveness goes down a bit, and my cooperativeness is not also at its highest because I'm saying I'll take some from you, not all that you're giving me, right? Uh, Even if they don't have merit, some of it, I'll take it, right? On you look at compromising approach, the problem with compromising approach is this: that both the parties feel that they've lost, and that's a problem because that's a residue for next set of conflict actually. So compromising too often will lead to heartburns. Competing will also lead to heartburn because one of the parties will feel that he's lost, right? Whereas the other party will feel that he has won. At least one person will feel happy in the environment. In compromising situation, most of the time, both the parties end up being unhappy, right? Uh, Accommodating would be where even if your ideas are irrelevant, your contribution is hardly there, I get you in. I'm in a strong position. But even so, I say it doesn't matter. I'll just be kind, I'll be helpful, I'll be accommodative, and therefore I bring you into the details. Even if you're not there, I will still be able to deliver the result that I have to, but I'm accommodating you, right? Uh, this is kind of lose-win situation, but the losing piece doesn't hurt because I know I'm in a strong position. I could have said no, but I haven't said no. I didn't have to say yes, but I've chosen to say yes. It's out of free will rather than in the competing environment where somebody is forcing me to accept certain things. In accommodating, I'm accepting it on my own. I'm losing out on a few things on my own. I'm making that choice. And therefore, I'm choosing to give up on things. It doesn't do any harm to anybody. But at the same time, this may not give you the best results often enough because it's like in a cricket team, you have 11 players and you're bringing in one player who is a weak bowler, but you're bringing him because you have to just bring in somebody, right? For any number of reasons. The result, the team's performance would naturally be impacted, right? And that's how this works. Make sense? Are we okay so far?
Yeah, absolutely, sir.
Yes, sir.
Avoiding is when I don't want to get into a conflict. I don't want to get into a confrontation. Eyes use it when they think that people will not like them. D people use it when they think they're likely to lose the argument. They will avoid. Huh? I do not want to get into argument which I lose. I don't get into a competition which I think I'm going to lose. I'll pull back, right? S will not get into an argument or a fight where they believe the relationship will be damaged. And compliance, behavioral style people will avoid when they don't have all the data and facts to present their case. Is that making sense? So avoidance is kind of just staying away. Low on assertiveness and low on cooperativeness. I'm not contributing anything to the discussion actually. I'm simply saying, okay, go ahead, you guys do whatever you want to do. I'm okay. I'll do what you tell me to do. I'm okay. That's avoiding. Make sense? While avoidance will make sure that their conflicts are minimized, they are not the best solution. They don't give you the best solution in the work environment. Okay? I just want us to read these slides. I'm not going to read for you, just read it. And it highlights advantage and disadvantage of each style. Let me know if you have any questions here.
Sir, yeah, you can have a win-lose situation or a lose-win
This is what
situation.
it will be a win-lose situation. The guy who is competing, if I am the one, I would want to win the argument,
Yes, but in
right?
a compromise
And
here, this is also
sorry?
competing in a win-lose situation, and in a compromising also you can having a win or lose-win situation. That
Yes. So
means
lose.
you are giving space to others. You are compromising your position. You are losing your reputation also in the
No.
in compromising.
In compromising, you're losing some, but you're also winning some. So let me go back to the previous slide so that I can show it to you. You see, midway, where you're a little low on assertiveness, you're also a little low on cooperativeness, which means you're still making some demands. You're
Yes,
saying, I will give you this if you give me this. If you don't give me that, I will not give you this. That's the argument. So it's like you're trying to find a win-win. Although you're trying to find a win-win, you end up finding a lose-lose situation. Is that making
yes.
sense, sir?
Sir,
Right.
yes, sir. In cooperativeness, you are giving, you are also, he is also, that side also cooperating with you, also cooperating. That means you're trying to
Right.
make a win-win situation. At the end of it, you are getting
That's
in
it.
the losing.
That's in collaborative. That's in
That's also
collaboration.
collaborative.
Collaboration is win-win, where you're trying to get the best of
Why,
both the
yeah,
parties.
yeah. Both sides are making their own stand. Yes.
Right.
Here,
And
one is making stand. Otherwise, is
right.
accepting their stands. Yes.
Right. So in
Sir, I
competing, what is
wanted to ask
happening?
a question.
Please, ma'am.
Sometimes when we compromise, we are just giving in to the situation.
Right.
That conditions don't apply there. So you were saying that we give in to something and then we take something from the other person. But not always
That's
we get the
competition.
chance to take something from the other person. We are just giving
So,
in.
so please don't go by the dictionary meaning of the word compromising, right? In here, compromising would mean that I am also trying to get something out. So, for example, even when we compromise, let's look at it this way. Uh, I'm going out with my friends. I prefer to have Mughlai food, and my friend says Thai, right? And I say, okay, I'll make that compromise. I'll have Thai, right? But what am I likely to do when I go? I'll probably choose the restaurant, the locality, the dessert, something I will do to make sure that I am not the only one who's losing out everything. You're getting the point I'm making. So even in personal relationships, when I say I'm losing out something, when I give up on something, I am giving up something in lieu of something else. So when I agree to my friend's invitation for a Thai dinner, I'm actually giving it up for the sake of relationship. I'm getting the relationship on track. I'm getting the good opinion of that friend of mine, strengthening of that bond with my friend. Are you getting me, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
So,
So,
so when
compromising will help in relationships, personal
absolutely,
relationships.
absolutely, ma'am. Thank you very much. That's what it will
Yeah.
do, right? Are we okay so far? Can we move to the next one, please? Is this okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Remember this, the competing style is most desirable when there's a demand in terms of time where firm decisions have to be made, all right? And when there's a need to get the best result possible, then competing style works, right? Situation where this is when competing style works in these situations. Are we okay? Got that?
Yes, sir.
Sir. Yes, sir. Here you have
I
to
hope it's all
adapt.
clear.
It's a here is
Sorry?
a here we have to be adaptive. You have to be flexible enough
Absolutely,
to
sir.
adaptive and flexible to accept that style of leadership, a style of working, a style of handling the situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely, sir. That is the whole idea behind the conversation that we are having, for the last hour and a few minutes. If the moment I become conscious, I realize the importance of adapting, and therefore I must start adapting. Make sense, sir? Okay, I'm moving to the next one.
Moving to the just the opposite of that, just the opposite
So,
of the
Yes,
so
yes,
we have a
absolutely.
question.
just the
Yeah.
reverse of the previous style.
So we have
Sure.
a
Yes,
question
ma'am.
from
Question.
Moshmi Day. I would rather
Yes,
request
ma'am.
Moshmi, if you're there, could you just ask the question? We'd be very happy to
Please.
hear from you. Hello, Moshmi, are you there? Anyway,
Yes, I'm there. Yes, yes, I'm
yeah,
there.
yeah,
So,
yeah. We'd be
afternoon,
very
Dr.
happy to.
Ayaz.
Yeah, yeah. Please go ahead.
So, I was just looking at the different styles, and due to the change of environment, due to the people that we have around, due to the complexities, so our style changes. Does it mean that
Absolutely.
we are very much adaptable and accommodative to various situations?
Absolutely.
Because that is
Absolutely.
the outcome, because we want to have a good relationship with people. So which means that you need to be accommodative, you need to be like a situational leadership, you need to have a different flavor as a leader. So which means, do we need to have all the conflict style with us, maybe in
I
different
don't have I don't
percentage?
have to have any style, ma'am. I
Okay.
only need to be aware of the environment in which the conflict is appearing and the importance of that disagreement. And I'll take a stand accordingly. So if it is something, and I'm giving you the situation in which avoiding becomes a good technique and or competing becomes a good technique and so on, right? That's what we are looking at. So when you're looking at this, for example, let me go down. And the stakes are not high. Why get into a fight and argument? I don't have to win every argument. If the confrontation is going to hurt the working relationship, I might as well avoid it, right? And if there's a limited chance of winning the argument, I know that there's no way I can convince you to do what I want you to do. Look at the fourth bullet. Disruption outweighs benefits of conflict resolution. Might as well avoid. Why put in an effort into resolving something that will resolve itself over a period of time? Make sense, ma'am? So
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, sir.
I only
Absolutely, sir.
all that I need to do in any conflict situation is to understand two things. First, whether it is task related or personal conflict, whether it is functional or dysfunctional. That's the first one I need to know, right? That's the first one. The second is, in this environment, what is the value of this disagreement? Whether I should avoid, compete, compromise, that I should be able to assess. I'm going to share this slide with Dr. Jyoti Dule so that you can refer to it for better understanding if you want to later on. Because honestly speaking, because of time constraint, I have not been able to spend the kind of time which I would like to on each one of these issues. But definitely you can spend time, reflect on it, and you'll have your answers to the questions, right? So, ma'am, I hope that it clarifies what we are trying to explain.
Yes, sir. I had a little follow-up question. I was just
Please,
wondering. Okay. So as
please.
you just mentioned about this, we are living in a VUCA world, and in order to manage the VUCA world, what is happening inside us, which is the Bani, as we say, are we brittle? Are we anxious? So there's a lot of conflict which is happening inside of us. So
Right.
what would you call it as a strategy to take care of the Bani which is within us? Because there's a lot of conflict which is happening. But how
Right.
do we take care of the Bani or the conflict which is happening inside us to manage the change of the outside?
No, so when you're looking at the two elements here, ma'am, first is the conflict which is emerging within most of the people around right now is because of the conditioning, and that's a very different discussion. But I just want to spend a couple of minutes on this one because of the conditioning that we have been through all these years. So let's say my generation, I've been conditioned in a particular manner, whether in terms of work or social engagement or personal relationships, whatever you're looking at, right? And I see the world evolving in a very different manner altogether, right? Uh, and then within me, I say, oh, it used to work earlier. It should be working now, but I find it's not working anymore. What do I do then? Right? What I have to do is very fundamental. First is accept the fact that we are living in a world where things are continuously, it's not even VUCA anymore. It's still of flux all the time. It's churning all the time. What was okay yesterday is not okay today anymore. And what is working well today will not work tomorrow, right? What I need to do is constantly talk to myself, have these conversations with myself, understand what is working and what is it that I need to adapt to. So I will have to adapt to whatever is emerging, and at the internally, uh, what we're discussing here is adapting more in behavioral terms outwardly. What you have brought up is more about adapting in terms of mentally and psychologically and emotionally, right? For example, I grew up in an environment where you couldn't tell your father that you're wrong, right? And then I have my daughters who tell me half the time you're wrong, and they're right. Now, emotionally, I need to adapt to that. Psychologically, I need to adapt to that, right? The fact that she knows better than I do or I did when I was her age, I need to accept that. The key would be in terms of acceptance of the dynamics of the world around us. Till such time we are in the denial mode, we'll struggle to adapt. The moment we have acceptance of whatever is happening in the world around us, adapting will be very easy. I don't have too many. I mean, I dare not have too many arguments with my daughters, right? I'm very wary of ladies, by the way. I'm very scared of them, right? But the fact of the matter is that no, I live and I work with some very powerful women. Therefore, I'm very careful, right? And they know what they're talking about. They know their mind better than men do. Gentlemen, I'm sorry, but I'm speaking for myself. Okay, you may have a different view, but
Thank you very much, sir.
ladies, they know their minds much better. Give me 30 seconds. There's this call. I have just had to tell him that I'll have to come back after 10 minutes. Andy, can I call you after 15 minutes, half an hour? Will that be, I'm in a session right now. Just call you back. Thank you. This is a friend of mine. We need to get back into some work discussions. I'm sorry about this slight disruption. So, therefore, what I'm trying to say is this: I have conditioned myself, I've trained myself, I've dealt with my emotions in being told by my own child that I may not be right all the time. That's the kind of adapting we need to do. A father doesn't have to be right all the time. A teacher doesn't have to be right all the time. Your student could be telling you that, no, sir, what you're saying, or ma'am, what you're saying is what it was supposed to be, but today it's different, right? And I've read it in on a very authentic website, or some very authentic sources told me this, and therefore this is what it is. This is where we should be actually. That's when it will work for us. I hope that's making sense to everybody.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, can I move on to the next one?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Accommodating style. I'm making a correction on my slide, please, while we are on with it, right? Are we okay? I go to the next.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
We're good with this, I hope. In case there are any questions, please go ahead. They're compromising style.
Sir, I wanted to ask you a question.
Please.
The third point, compromise is assertive and cooperative. Result is either win-lose or lose-lose.
Right.
So could you please explain
So
this
what happens
sentence?
is this: when I'm making a compromise, uh, smart negotiator, I may be a very smart negotiator. So what I would do is I would tell you that I'm giving up on certain things, but actually those may be irrelevant. When I do negotiation skills sessions, I talk about these as bargaining counters, right? So I may use chips which are low value chips. They're bargaining counters. So I'm just using them to bargain, right? And then I will extract the maximum out of you. So I'll make you give up more and more from your side, which means I'll have a win-lose situation in that case. It will be a compromise. I would appear to have given up on certain things, but I actually may not be giving up on anything which is critical. Whereas I may be forcing you to give up on important issues actually, right? Typically, governments use this technique very often. They appear to be compromising with the agitators. Some years ago we had the farmers' rally, and we appeared to have a compromise there. The government didn't give up on anything major, right? But it appeared as a compromise by the government, right? Or it will have a lose-lose situation where I'm also forced. So if you're a smart negotiator also, I may be smart, but you're smarter probably. You will also extract your pound of flesh from me. Both of us will have to give up on critical things. Both of us feel that we have lost. So that's how it works. Make sense, ma'am? I hope that
So,
clarifies.
sir,
Yeah.
here both of them are losing, right?
Right. Right.
So there is no
This is where the problem.
win-loss situation here.
Yes, so this is where the problem is. Both the parties feel that they've lost, and because of that, they would try to get even in future. This is the, how should I put it? This is the residue for next conflict, actually. And this, most of the time, compromise solution leads to personal conflict. Personal conflict as in dysfunctional conflict. That's what happens.
True. Thank you.
Okay. Are we okay?
Yes, sir.
Can I go to the next one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
We okay with this?
Yes, sir.
It's a game of patience, I believe.
Absolutely.
Situational collaborating style.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Time is not a concern, but of course, we have to have a lot
Yes.
of patience.
So
Absolutely.
how about having collaboration when we have deadlines and all, like
So what
something
happens,
like we'll be having?
So you
Yes,
can
sir.
still have collaboration if the focus is on getting the best out of that situation, right? So the first thing that the two parties would do typically is to say, okay, what is the best that I can bring into the room? Instead of the other one telling them what to bring into the room, they themselves would identify. This is what healthy work environment is all about, right? Where I volunteer to bring in whatever best I can, and you volunteer to bring in whatever best you can, and I say whatever is a problem at my end. This is a lot about a very mature kind of negotiation you will have here, very mature kind of discussion you will have here. Unlike competing or even compromising for that matter, collaborating style will never be about winning or one-upmanship. It will always be about making sure that both of us get the best out of each other. That's what healthy teamwork is all about, actually. And then time ceases to be a constraint because you will do it much faster. Are we okay?
Yes, sir.
One last slide to help you understand the relationship between disk and conflict mode, right? You can read it, it gives you an idea. Okay. There's are we good so far? We're done with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Should I stop sharing? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Dr. Dole, 5:29. So I've kept my time. I've
On
kept my
time,
time.
right on. But sir, I must tell you, like you did cover a lot, and whatever questions we had, but we do have one more question, a few more
Yes,
questions. But
please.
then
So
it,
I'm saying that by 5:30, it's not over until you say it's over. So please go on if you have
no,
questions
it's
or.
not. It's not over. It's not over. But we have a. There's one more question that I wanted to ask you. I wanted you to elaborate on that. It's uh, like Why do you think that we need to have, like, why it is important, to have uh, like, to have different techniques used for conflict resolution? Like, we have
Right.
different people, different mood, different mind. So, like,
Right.
how what is what why it is important to have different techniques?
Right. So just a couple of things that we want to keep in mind, and this would be true in work relationships as well as in personal relationship. We're all different individuals, all of us, every single one of us, right? No two individuals is the same. No two individuals will have the same priorities or same interests. And therefore, conflicts are a very natural fallout of that. Will happen. You and I will have disagreements, no matter what we talk about, but we will have disagreements, and that's perfectly normal. So, first is to accept the fact that conflicts are normal. In fact, desirable is how I put it, right? That's one. Having said that, we also need to understand that conflicts cannot be a permanent feature of our life. We cannot continuously have disagreements and sweep it under the carpet. We need to learn to take care of those disagreements and conflicts, right? And if we have to take care of it, then I need to know in what context, in what situation should I act in a particular manner. When should I choose to be competing? And when should I choose to be collaborating or accommodating or even avoiding for that matter? What does this particular issue demand? What is that I should bring to the fore? Should I be very assertive and say, no, this is how it should be and this is how I want it? Because I know if I don't do that, the whole team, the institution, the organization, or at the least me personally is going to lose big time, then I'm going to be very demanding. But if I think that this is kind of just one of those little things in life, doesn't have any bearing on anything, I may even choose to avoid it or just make a compromise and say it's all right, right? And that's a key. So therefore, what you want to understand is this: that every situation will have its own issue around it, will have its context, and I will have to decide what is it that I want to use as a method of dealing with that issue, right? I need to be aware of the fallout of using a particular method in a particular situation and make a choice accordingly. Always focus on what would be the fallout of this approach and then go for that. Right now, we do it impulsively. I become competitive. At times, I become submissive. At times, and I agree to make all kind of compromises. But what I need to do is be aware of the choice that I'm making in terms of conflict resolution, and then accordingly, I should decide which one would be best suited in this environment or situation. I hope that answers, ma'am.
Thank you.
I
Thank
think
you.
the conflicts bring the best out of us and the worst out of
And
us.
missed out
I
of
so
us.
agree. I so agree, ma'am.
So
Yeah.
it's important that we deal with the situation, as you said, thinking about the outcome of it.
Right, right.
And I think like you said very correctly, that it is important to have conflicts. In fact, it is desirable, and we can, of course, like, going by the entire presentation, what we have understood is that, of course, we can have conflicts without acrimony. I mean, it is
Right,
the acrimony part is the main thing
right,
that
right,
kills any relationship.
right,
And in a workplace or in any public space apart from us, like, when we meet people, and, in that space, different minds. When I say mind, I mean, I'm talking about people. So different mind comes from different cultures, different thought processes. So in that
right,
case, it's natural to have conflicts. So the best way is to deal with it, to face it, I think. So if
right.
I'm not wrong, if I got to correctly.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for such an insightful and a very, very engaging, session today. I hope all the participants have really, enjoyed. If I do not, make it oversimplified, if I do not oversimplify it, I believe all of you must have enjoyed this session, and you are carrying something back to your home today. So thank you so much, sir, for being with us, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.